So I've met some pretty interesting people in my 8 years of school. So today I'm going to be talking about some of them. First of all, we have the jocks. Now, usually jocks are referred to people who play all kinds of different sports. But in our school, jocks are just football players. Most of the stuff in our school is just about football. We're just one of those schools. Anyways, if you're lucky, you'll be able to make friends with one of them, but most of the time, they won't talk to you unless you talk to them, and usually it's going to be awkward because they don't like you, and you most likely don't like them. But whatever. Next up, we have the cheerleaders. For some reason, they only date the jocks, and they'll only sit with the jocks, which lowers your chance of making friends with one of the jocks because they're always hanging out with the cheerleaders. Well, more of the cheerleaders always want to hang out with them, and the jocks are kind of forced to sit with them, or else the cheerleaders are going to get really annoyed. And we usually refer to the cheerleaders as popular girls. Now, don't get it confused with us calling them popular because we look up to them and we think they're cool. We call them popular because usually popular people are referred to as spoiled and sometimes annoying, which is what most of these girls are like. Next up, we have the fantasy kids. There's nothing much to say here except for they're pretty good at starting conversations because they have a lot of weird stuff on their mind. And when we go outside during school, they would always run around like they're in some video game or anime. And next up, we have the group I'm a part of, which is the chill people. And they're just chill people, you know? Um, they don't get in fights with anyone, except for that one time. I'll talk about that later. And they're not exactly best friends with everyone, but usually they don't get bullied, and everyone's just kind of okay with them. So yeah, you guys probably want to hear about the fighting story. All right, so me and some of my other friends, we were at one of our friends' birthday parties, and there's this kid that he invited who was our friend at the time, but he's not our friend anymore because he's done some strange stuff. Anyways, so we were driving home from this roller skating rink. I remember while they were there, some person kicked me in the leg and I fell on the ground. My friends came up and they're like, "What happened?" I was like, "That person over there kicked me in the leg." So they skated up to her and kicked her. It was great. Anyways, so we were driving home, and this kid, we'll just call him Jimmy for now. So Jimmy, he was just trying to pick a fight on anyone, and I feel bad for the kid that was with his seat because he was trying to beat him up. And the other kid was like pushing him away, like, "Dude, get off of me." But he just kept punching him and kicking him. Eventually, the one kid pushed him away, and he's like, "Dude, stop." And then Jimmy, the little freaking rat that he is, headbutted him. And the other kid, he didn't get hurt, but Jimmy had a big goose egg on his head. If you don't know what that is, it's basically just a big bump on your head. And my friend's mom was all like, "Oh, do you want us to take you to the hospital? You want us to take you home?" And he was like, "No, I'm okay." What really, on the inside, he was really triggered. So we got home and we all sat in the living room. Some people were playing games, others were just talking to people. And I was walking around because I was sitting in that car for a while, trying not to listen to anything that everyone else was saying. So I was up walking around, and eventually, Jimmy, his head hurt so much that he had to do something, and so he just tried to like kick people for some reason. I guess that's what he does when he's in pain. He just feels the need to hurt people. Anyways, he eventually came up to me, and I already knew what he was about to do because I saw him go up and kick the person who was hosting the party in the leg. So I already knew what was going on, so I just pushed him away, and I was like, "Don't even touch me, man." And then he was like, "No, I'm going to touch you." And I was like, "Jimmy, please stop. You need to like lay down because your head probably really hurts." He was like, "Shut up." So he tried to come at me several times, but I just kept pushing away. Eventually I pushed him away. I went over to go lay down on the couch to hopefully get some sleep because I didn't want to deal with that crap anymore. And he was like, "Yeah, you better walk away, you idiot." and then I turned around and punched him in the stomach. It wasn't like a full on like falcon punch, but it was just a light little "you need to stop touching me, kid." So I punched him in the stomach, and then he just walked back to the couch and laid down, and he didn't talk for the rest of the night. But that was everything. Those were some of the people I've talked and met to. So, I didn't talk about everyone because some people, they're just in some random category. And some of them are in groups of kids that I don't really think are PG to talk about on YouTube. So, sorry that most of the video is talking about the fighting story, but it just turns out that I keep ranting. Anyways, sorry if I say anything wrong in this video. I'm pretty sure at one part I said like I've talked, met to, I've I didn't know where I was going with it, but anyways, thanks for watching. I didn't animate the fighting story because I didn't have time, but hopefully in the future I'll have enough time to animate the entire thing because this video is a bit longer than some of my other videos. Thanks for watching, and don't be dumb.